Hello friends and welcome again to my YouTube channel, and this is our ongoing course in which we are going to discuss about the salient features of the Indian Constitution. So we have discussing about the features of the Indian Constitution from past 5 lessons, and it is the sixth lesson of this course in which we will be discussing about the three-tier government, emergency provisions and independent bodies. My name is Rohan Kumar Singh. I have completed my graduation in electrical and electronics engineering, and if you like this video, do hit the like button, and if you want to get more such videos on various educational topics, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in the previous video we have covered about the concept of secular states in India. So we have discussed about the concept of secularism. We have discussed about the concept of universal adult franchise, and we have also discussed about the provision of single citizenship with respect to Indian Constitution. So please do watch my previous video if you want to get more such insights on this topic. So the first topic is the three-tier government structure. Originally, the Indian Constitution provided for a dual polity. Dual polity means the organization of power between two authorities, and those two authorities were central and the states. So there was a division of power between the central government and the state governments at the state level. Further, with the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, so these two constitutional amendments were brought to the Constitution of India in 1992, and a third tier of government was added in the Constitution itself, which is nowhere found in any other constitution of the world. So as of now we have three-tier government structure in our country, that is India. The first is at the central level we have the union government, at the state level we have the state governments, and at the local level we have panchayats and urban local government. So the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, so it gives constitutional recognition to the panchayats. So these panchayats are the rural governing body, or we can say rural local governments, and this amendment added a new part 9 and a new schedule was also added, that is schedule 11. So kindly remember this: with the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, a new part 9 is added which is related to the panchayat, and a new schedule, that is the 11th schedule, was added in the constitution. Later, with the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act in the same year, recognition to municipalities or the urban local government has been provided in the constitution by adding a new part 9A and a new schedule, that is schedule 12, in the Constitution of India. Now we'll discuss about the emergency provisions. So what are the emergency provisions which are there in the Constitution of India? So Indian Constitution, it contains elaborate provisions. So these emergency provisions, it enables the President of India to meet any kind of extraordinary situation effectively, and the main reason behind involving this provision in the Constitution of India to safeguard the unity and integrity of our country and to maintain the democratic and political system in the country. So there are three types of emergencies according to the Constitution of India. We can classify the emergency provisions into three types. The first is the national emergency, which has been mentioned in Article 352 of the Constitution. The second is the state emergency, also popularly known as the President's Rule, and it has been mentioned in Article 356 and 365. And last is the financial emergency, which is mentioned in Article 360. So kindly remember these articles so that you can solve some multiple choice questions if it can be asked in any examination. Okay, so the articles which are related to emergency provisions are 352, which ensures about national emergency, 356 and 365 regarding state emergency, also known as President's Rule, and Article 360 talks about the financial emergency. So national emergency, what are the grounds for their proclamation? So it has been proclaimed by the President of India under the grounds of war, okay, external aggression and armed rebellion. So if our country, that is India, has been engaged in any kind of war with any other country, or it has been under external aggression from any external force, so on that grounds national emergency can be declared. And also under armed rebellion inside the country, if such kind of situation has been created, national emergency can be proclaimed by the President of India. So before the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1978, the provision of armed rebellion was not there. It was the internal disturbance in India. But after the imposition of national emergency during the time of Indira Gandhi's rule, okay, the erstwhile Prime Minister of our country, this provision of internal disturbance had been substituted with the armed rebellion with the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Now we'll talk about state emergency, also known as President's rule. So on the grounds, if the state, it failed to comply with the direction of the center, or if there is a constitutional, if there is a failure in the constitutional machinery inside the state, on that grounds state emergency can be proclaimed. Financial emergency has to be proclaimed when there is a threat to the financial stability of our country. Now there are some independent bodies which functions independently for the effective governance of our country. So we'll talk about some of those independent bodies. The first is the Election Commission of India, and it has been mentioned, it is a constitutional body which is mentioned in Article 324 of the Constitution. And the duty of the Election Commission of India is to ensure free and fair elections to the Parliament of India, to the state legislature of the states, and to the office of President and Vice President. So this is the main function of the Election Commission of India. Now we'll come to the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and it has been mentioned in Article 148 to 151. So what it actually does, it audits the accounts of the central and state governments, okay, and it acts as a guardian of the private purse, and it also comments on the legality of government expenditure. So if you guys have been following current affairs of India, you must be reading various reports are being laid by the Comptroller and Auditor General. So it basically submits its reports to the President of India, and then the President of India laid those reports in the Parliament for the discussion. Okay, so this is the main role of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Third is the Union Public Service Commission. So it has been mentioned in Article 315 to 323, and it is there to conduct examination for the recruitment of All India services. So what are the All India services? There are 3 All India services as of now. The first is the Indian Administrative Service, second is the Indian Police Service, and third is the Indian Forest Service. So for the recruitment of these services, Union Public Service Commission is there, and other higher central services which are of Group A and Group B, they are also being conducted by the UPSC. Apart from that, it also advises the President on disciplinary matters. So if any person, especially those who are belonging from the All India services, and if any question arises regarding disciplinary matter, so it advises the President regarding the disciplinary matter of the members of the All India services. Next is the State Public Service Commission. So it is similar to the Union Public Service Commission, but it works in state level. Okay, so in every state to conduct examination for the recruitment of state services. So like All India services, there is similar kind of services at the state level also. So in order to conduct examination for the recruitment of state services, State Public Service Commission is there, and likewise it advises the governor of these states for disciplinary matters. So this is all which I wanted to discuss with you guys. If you like this video, do hit the like button, and if you want to get more such videos on various educational topics, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have any kind of doubts, any kind of suggestions which you want to share with me, please feel free to comment and I will reply to you. It is my guarantee. Thank you very much and have an awesome day.